Thank you so much, Honourable Daniels.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I know we're pressed for time, and I promise I won't take up much time. I think I must start, Chairperson, colleagues, and reiterate that the NFVF, Honourable Khabo, NFVF, I don't believe that they need more funding. That's the first point I want to state. And we can arguably have the wrong people in charge here. Now, I just want to pose a snap question for a response, then I'm going to run through what I want to say. The establishment of the provincial structures, the identification of the provincial structures, there are established ones, there are emerging ones, and there are underserviced ones. Can the CFO give an indication about the apportionment of funds allocated to established, emerging, and underserviced? Because I see there's 3 provinces established, 3 emerging, and 3 underserviced. I would just like that answer, please. Then I'll run through the rest, Chairperson. Thank you.
CFO.
Chair, if I may. So thank you, Honourable Daniels, for that question. I think it did come up before. Our mandate is national, so because of that national mandate, which is also prescribed by the Act, we are not in a position to ring-fence funding for different provinces. We have to apply our mandate nationally. However, like I was saying before, when it comes to the serviced and the underserviced provinces, our approach is to prioritize underserviced provinces in all the funding, because when we have to report back to the department, whether it's for normal funding or special projects, they want to know how we spent it. We have to qualify it. They want to know how much funding was spent in each of the different provinces. If it's job-related funding, how many jobs were created there. So that's why I mentioned the approach about the road shows, and even in the evaluations with the chairpersons of each of the panels, there will be times where they will be deliberate to say, we will start with applications from the Northern Cape, then we'll go to the Free State, then we'll go to the North. So we'll start with your underserviced provinces, then we will look at applications from your service provinces at the end. So with that strategy, the idea is that the apportionment of the funding is fair, that it does not sit where we know we will get the bulk of the applications. So that's essentially how the process is. I think the indication of the provinces was not to say, it was really an indication to say, in terms of the industry, how do these provinces operate, right? So your Gauteng, the bulk of the work is there, the bulk of your applications will be from Gauteng, followed by the Western Cape and then KZN. And some of the conditions, the environmental conditions, are outside of the NFVF's control. So in the Northern Cape, in the Northwest, there are socio-economic issues and challenges which go beyond what the NFVF can respond to. But we do follow that strategy to make sure that we apportion the funding as fairly as possibly as we can across all the 9 provinces.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Chairperson. So I'm not truly satisfied with the response, and I'll tell you why. Hey. You see, Chairperson, in politics we talk about redressing the imbalances of the past. Hey, Tada.
All the honourable members.
You know, so, I mean, it's not coincidence that we find most of the aspiring ones in the industry, they relocate to where the established provincial structures are, leaving our provinces void of those people. And it's not right. It cannot be that we are told that the apportionment is fairly done, but yet we are talking about emerging and underserviced structures. I would be embarrassed to use the word underserviced when I'm in charge of this entity. It shouldn't be. Because if it was fairly apportioned, we will never have underserviced. Underserviced synonymous is that we are lacking to support certain areas. That's what underserviced means. So that can never be accepted. I also hear that, no, it's not ring-fenced, but as true as Bob, I'm pretty much sure that the bigger chunk is going to where the established provincial structures are. That's not how you redress the imbalances. That must change, Chairperson. If you come from apartheid, you will know what it means to redress imbalances. We cannot contribute to the same standard and the norms from where we come from. How are we not embarrassed when we go to these areas and we look at the people and think, it's not your turn now, we are still busy going to Igoli. That cannot be right. That must change. And it's not a request, it's an instruction. We must change this entity, Chairperson and colleagues. Now, I want to go to the core funding pillars because there's marketing and distribution funding, there's skills and development training. So surely there is a procurement process to get those service providers on board. I have one question. Those people who see to the adjudication, how long have they been serving in that position? Has it been, can I just be protected here because it's distracting me, Chairperson?
Just give the honourable member an opportunity to speak.
How long, and I want that answer, how long has the same people been there? Because I tell you what, it's a great chance to loot resources and funding. There's brown envelopes, there's what, because I've got my preferred service providers that I'm going to use over a long period of time. So the question of how long have those people who adjudicate these things been there is relevant to my concern. You see, Chairperson, now I'm going to touch on the other uncomfortable things that my colleagues have raised. I've heard my colleagues make mention that colored people are preferred in certain instances. Me sitting here as an honourable member of Parliament, I am very happy that some people are disturbed that colored people are being given opportunities because it's our turn. Like it or not, beard is beard, turn is turn. Now, I'm very happy also that the entity has explained the list of names of people who were successful, and that speaks to Rainbow Nation representation, which means then that why is it that those who are referred to or identified as Africans in particular have a problem when there's white people and Indian people and colored people getting opportunities? I'll tell you what the real problem is here. For 31 years, the African National Congress, who is a national congress for Africans, and us not being identified or recognized as Africans, does not make or did never make time for colored people and Indian people and white people to serve in these positions. Now that there's a change of guard, and we are saying, let us be fair. Let us apportion those positions to everybody. And that was confirmed now when the entity mentioned the names. I can only deduce from that point that the problem is that these entities are not black only or exclusively or African in particular. That by itself is a problem.
Can we call order?
We need
Chair?
we need to.
Can I rise on a point of order?
I don't think there's any order yet to be called.
Honorable Khabo, what is your point of order?
You know, when you want to quote us, you must quote us in verbatim. What we are having a problem is the process, not individuals. We never said that we have a problem with individuals. So that's why I'm calling order. I'm not disputing the contents. Just saying quote us in verbatim as to what is the problem. We don't have a problem with colors. We don't have a problem. We've got a problem that the process was followed. Not only with colors. Even Africans are there.
Thank you, Honorable Khabo. You see, Honorable members, I want to guard against members of this portfolio committee to respond on issues amongst one another. We are confronted as members of parliament with presentations, and in our response, we have to deal with those presentations in terms of our oversight. I want us to do only that. And I really want to guard against members to engage, because then I must give each and everyone a chance to elaborate in terms of what has been meant. Proceed, Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Chairperson. I need 1 more minute. I just want to say also to the film, and what's this thing, Honorable Khabo? Yes. yes. I just want to say to them, they're saying that they don't have money, they're asking us for more money. But when they see some people didn't make it, those applicants, they call them in, they say, come, I'm going to show you how to do the proper application so that more people must come and knock and say, I qualify, where's my funds? I just don't understand why you would do that if you are bleeding money and you don't have enough. But you're inviting more people come. You can't make the circle bigger if you are claiming not to have enough, even though I think you've got more than enough. My last point, Chairperson. And I'm on the land on this point, and it's going to take me 2 steps back now. But I'm going to say it. On numerous times, the Minister, the DG, DSEG, had to respond to a question that has been recycled in this meeting. And it's about the secondment of the CEO. That question has come up how many times? From one corner to the other corner. Now that by itself, it's like somebody asked me one day, Ish, they keep on asking me questions. How many times must I be not guilty until I'm found guilty? The response by everybody to that recycled question from corner to corner was consistent. But it was forever being asked, meaning then that you are not happy with the response and you're going to continue to ask, hoping that a different response is going to come. That gives me a sense of politics at play, and a sense that it's personal, Chairperson.
Honorable Daniels.
I know you don't like what I'm saying, Chairperson, but I've said it. I'm done now, Chairperson. Thank you.
I don't want to deny you any opportunity to say what you want to say. But you must remember, if members ask questions, it is there. I can't dictate what questions they must ask the minister. And the fact on the table is that questions have been asked, and you're correct, every single meeting, but different entities. It's different entities that are appearing. So members ask these questions. And let's keep the decorum of this house. We are running out of time.
No, I'm not responding.
But what I want to...
Now the sequence was Honorable Daniels, then Honorable Mataung, then Honorable Tetwa, then Honorable Musa. Honorable Makhat, I will give you an opportunity. We're running out of time, and I'm sure you don't want me to bring back my clock again.
But I just want to talk a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
that
to
little bit mustn't be a response on what Honorable
No,
Daniels
no.
has said.
No, we are not responding.
Please, I want peace amongst you guys.
Yes.
Honorable members.
When we are here, all of us, we are honorable councillors.
Yes.
And I think all of us, we must respond like honorable councillors. But if we can take the things the way they are, in future, we will have problems. So let's be honorable councillors and then assist each other.
Just correction, Chairperson.
Thank
That's
you
not
very
local government. Okay.
Yeah, I understand the honorable member means honorable members. Honorable Khabo, can I skip you?
Skip me. It's fine. You can skip me. I'm not responding. I wanted to make a proposal as you are closing.
Aggressive, okay.
I just wanted to make a proposal
Okay,
on your.
I'll
If
come
you are
back.
closing,
I'll come
Chair,
back.
Okay, fine.
I'll come back to you. Honorable Tetwa and then Honorable Musa. Questions?
Thank you, Chair. Two questions that were not answered. I asked how much did NFVF support the best documentary, and how much, if there's any international film that they've supported, how much did they support with? Maybe I should allow them to answer that because they ducked that question before. Before I come to the questions, my follow-up questions, Chair.
Can you respond to the two questions?
Thank you, Member of Parliament, for that question. We find a number of projects that go internationally. When you say best documentary, do you mean the one that was mentioned here? Because I think we've had a number of documentaries that we've funded that have gone internationally. We've had projects that have gone to Russia this year, which were part of the Youth Filmmaker Project. And each one of those was made at 500,000. You have...
Can the member please answer my question? I asked how much did they fund the best documentary that they talked about on the presentation? Not the preamble that she's giving me.
Okay, the funding.
How much did you fund that best documentary?
So
And
for
in terms
development,
of
it was funded...
international- In terms of international movies, I'm talking about a movie that is coming from abroad that is going to be or be made in South Africa with maybe producers from South Africa. Is there any movie that you have done that has that aspect?
So the project that was mentioned, Black Women and Sex, was funded 100,000 rather for development, and it was funded 500,000 for production, and that was just the NVF. Of course, it did raise money elsewhere. We do have a number of projects that are co-productions, which are funded with South African money and with money from other countries, which South Africa has a co-production with. Some of them is with Holland, Netherlands. We can actually share the numbers in those. I don't think it would be fair because to give those numbers in terms of how much the holistic number is in this public platform. However, we can share the particulars of those projects with the permission of the producers because we're not the sole funder.
Chair, when it comes to international, they can't disclose. What's
It's
that?
not-
What's
it's
that?
not- it's
I
not
just
that-
want to know, the reason why I'm asking this question, I just want you to pick one movie and say, for instance, for this movie that was made by an international company in collaboration with South Africans, we funded this much.
I think, Honorable Member, we're not DTI. We don't fund international companies. We only fund South African producers. So any of the projects that we would have funded would have been South African projects. So one of them that was screened earlier in the year in Berlin was a Heart of a Muscle, which was funded 1.8 million by NAVF. So in terms of funding international projects, we can only fund from a co-production element, but we don't fund international. We don't do a rebate, and we're not a tax incentive either.
Okay, so are you saying that there's no movie where you have assisted South Africans to participate in the collaboration? There's no international movie that you have participated to help South Africans to work with international stars, producers, film companies in order to gain skill. There's no movie like that.
So, like I'm saying, we have had co-productions which we have funded. All our co-productions would have been funded at 1.8. We've just now announced a project which is funded 1.8, but of course it's going into production now. It has not yet
No, thank you. I don't want to know what you are doing now. I wanted to find out. I wanted to check the numbers. If you take the production, the local production serious as you take the international production serious, you are funding local companies 600,000 to make a movie or documentary, but you can go 1.8 when it comes to international. That's
No,
the
sir.
problem.
No, sir. That was a South African project. It was funded 1.8. It showed internationally. It is a South African project with South African producers. It's actually a team of producers that actually are multiracial that were funded. It's just that they showed their project internationally. It is precisely because it was a good film that it managed to get attraction internationally. It is not an
Problem is that you
international
want to
project.
explain all these things. You want to gloat to us that you've done this and this.
But
and
it's
that.
a South African
You
project
did not
to
get
simplify
my
the question.
No, the problem, you did
Can I
not
make
get
the
my question.
following-
But let me allow
Honorable
you.
Mtetwa, can I make
Let-
the following ruling? If we ask the question, let's give NFVF the opportunity to respond. And if you're happy with the question, indicate so. But don't interrupt if she is responding.
No, Chair, she's
Proceed.
taking my time and she's answering things that I didn't ask. If she
Proceed.
doesn't understand, she must ask to clarify. Because she's chowing my time and I know what I'm trying to do. I want to compare our commitment to our own local filmmakers. All right. In line with DSEC's mandate, social cohesion or transformation is part of what we must achieve post-1994. In terms of the announcements that you made in your funding NFVF, financial year 2025-2026, where you have marketing and distribution, international bursary recipients, so and so. Can you give me figures in terms of how many colored people you funded, how many Indians you funded, how many black people you funded, how many white people you funded? Secondly, the demographics of who you funded, from where. Women, how many women were funded in that process? How many people with disabilities were funded? How many people from the youth were funded in this current financial year? And further to that, under the funding that deals with feature post-productions, you have Robert Dos Santos, who was funded. This Is How the World Ends. That's the production, PTY Ltd. Why there are no figures displayed in your report on that one? How much did he get in terms of your funding? Thirdly,
Hold there, Honorable Mtetwa. Let we get the response. Are you in a position to respond to that very important question? You are happy to respond. what is this?
We just need a chair.
Respond. TDG.
Deputy
Can we
Chair.
get order in the meeting? You can respond if you want to. I'm referring to you.
Good afternoon, Chairperson. I'm not operations and I don't have the data, so I would refer the question to the operations team who has the data. Thank
Okay,
you.
no, I understand because I appreciate the fact that you liaise and advise. That's why I said you can respond.
I mean, I
but that's a
can-
very, very important question.
Yeah.
And if that answer cannot be given now, we need that ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak, for example, as a council member who had oversight over the PESP, the presidential project. And for example, there we definitely had, if I remember the numbers, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was majority black African people who received funding from the treasury for projects. The numbers, I don't have a laptop with me, so I don't have the numbers with me, but our operations team is here and they should be able to access the info.
Okay, let's get it. Let's get the information. Very important question. If you have listened
May I
to-
ask the parliamentarian, is it a specific project or period that you want to know about?
It's the 2025-2026.
Which we are, the current financial year.
Yeah, the current financial year, what you have approved for projects.
So far.
Yes.
Okay,
it's-
and that would be the internal, because we also had managed PESP. But let's look at the figures for the current. Yeah, let's look at the NFF specific funding for the current financial year.
the spread as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do that. It is tracked, so there are numbers.
Honorable Mtetwa, proceed. I think the numbers will still come. Okay,
they're
there we go. We got
calculated.
numbers.
Yeah.
I think the council or the chairperson asked in terms of who have been funded. We can give the demographics, but it won't. It's so sorry. So we are still only in our second quarter, but from the first quarter we have funded about 12 black females, 15 male females, 7 white females, 6 white males, 1 female colored, 2 female Indians, and 1 male Indian.
Honorable Mtetwa.
And I think I must contextualize that. I think
Of my colleagues, Chairperson, it's the one colored factor that got everybody buzzing here.
yes, but allow me to qualify it. I think what we have seen in terms of our application over the years, and I think this is across the board, whether it is students or professionals who are applying. The term black, or the people that have applied under the term black, does also consist of colored females and males, as well as Indian males and females. For instance, we've had particularly people that we know that if you wanted to culturalize them, they would be Indian, but when they apply as black. And I think unless I'm wrong, we are not able to declassify or reclassify people, rather. So we do have a number of
Thank you.
colleagues or people
Thank
of the
you
colored
so much.
community that classify themselves
you.
as Indians and as black.
Thank you so much.
While they are.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
fine. Honorable Mtetwa.
Chair, no, thank you for stopping, because this is what the problem is. She wants to justify and cloud facts.
Yeah, but I think, Honorable Mtetwa, I support you in the question, and I think we need
Yeah.
specifics.
I'm-
We need specifics irrespective the explanation. And I think they have to submit that to the committee members. Proceed. They have it on record, so
We have it on the laptop,
Yes,
so it can be sent
so
easily.
it can be sent within 3 days.
The reason I asked that question, I started by contextualizing the issues that it is the DSEC's mandate that you are assisting to attain, and in relation to social cohesion. Now, having 85% of colored people funded by NFVF, that is not social cohesion. That doesn't speak to transformation. Now you are hiding the truth behind. You are talking about 12 this, 12 that. That is not true. It can't be 12 from the funding that went into marketing and distribution. Okay? International bursary recipients, training service providers. Service providers, it can't be one person who is a service provider. And when we talk about beneficiaries, and we want to see the impact, we want to know how much impact you are making in dealing with the imbalances that we had. Post-1994, we're dealing with imbalances. We are not only dealing with numbers. And also, you must be able to justify. You can't say, I've allocated 85% for colored people when colored people constitute 15% of the population, and then you marginalize the majority of people who constitute 70% or 80%. You must be able to use rationalism in how you approach this. It's not about colored or black people or Indian, but it is about the rationalization of what we want to achieve post-1994. Now, you also have, I want to check quickly, you also have here in Cape Town, because that's where you are also very big as NFVF, here in Cape Town, where you have a studio that is owned by government but given to a private company, which we must go and do oversight, Chairperson. I'm trying to get that message that says, can you assist in checking this? Because this young person is asking, how do we establish a film commission in Cape Town? How do we establish a film? Because you have given this private company all the powers to do everything that has to do with film in Cape Town. Yet when you paint this picture of your report, you speak as if you are serving the entire province. But you are basically giving to one person over and over, over and over. So it's that question, and maybe we should do an oversight visit to that one, but they know which company I'm talking about. They know which entity. They can explain what is the arrangement. Maybe if you've got arrangement with this private company, that is why you've given it the government entity to operate from. Thanks, Chair. I think those are my questions.
Yeah, can you respond to the letter pertaining to the company?
I think our operations team would need more information. I mean, this. Can you give us the letter? Can you show us the letter? There needs to be more information about this, because I understand it's something being brought from someone in the public, but we need more information. Thank you.
Right. Honorable Mtetwa, if it's possible that we can submit that information. It is interrogation and based on our oversight. It is relevant, and I appreciate the fact that you would like to have the information. I think we can submit it later on. I'm now going to give an opportunity to Honorable Musa, then the Honorable Khabo, then I'm going to ask Public Service Commission to have their closing remarks, then Dr. Kumalo, and then we are going to close this meeting with some recommendations.
Thank you, Chairperson. I know it's quite late, but I'm left with an extremely important concern, and that is a statement and a submission which I want to drop a bombshell upon, which brings us all to know and understand the importance and veracity of the breach of the legislature framework. Now, we all sitting here have a fiduciary duty, and you can check this out in law. And that fiduciary law that I'm referring to is in terms of the legislature framework that we have in front of us. And it's important for us to caution you, and all of us, that in terms of the King Code of Governance, we have to caution that the members of the board are responsible in their personal capacities of what has transpired here today. In terms of the allegations, the serious allegations that are addressed here today. So from my side, that is what I just want to caution us all, so we know and understand the veracity of the legal implications. Please check this up with the legal team, and understand that when your board members are not here, 9 of them, which we questioned at the beginning, and the mandate that you have implicates all those other 9 members, should you be found guilty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Musa. Before Honorable Khabo, Honorable Mataung, you indicated that there was a question not responded to. Can you please rephrase it quick?
No, mine was more based on terms of the filmings that they've granted funds to independent producers and production houses. What can they do with them in order to play in our own channels like your SAPC and stuff? That was one of the other things.
Yeah.
Can they look at that way or something? Yeah.
Yeah, alongside that as well, also speak to benchmarking in the industry.
Thank you, Chair. Just to respond to Honourable Mutawung, so the NFVF funds through the grant funding process, but then we also have, as part of our APP targets, slates. So some of those production slates are done with distribution platforms like the SABC and other platforms as well. So the idea there, for example, the Youth Filmmaker slate, the idea there is for the female filmmaker slate, from ideation of your idea. So script writing, coming up with the content, the concept, script writing, producing, directing, right to the completion of that short film. That agreement then it will be done with a distributor so that there is space for that film to be seen. So with those slates, we get to achieve that. It's not necessarily something we get to achieve with all of the grants, but that's why we do have on the APP target those slates, so that we get to achieve exactly what you're talking about. Obviously, there's growth for that, but it's something that the NFVF has been doing for a number of years now, where we'll have a facilitating or mentoring production company, mentor 10 youth in a year or 10 female filmmakers in a year, and then they have to produce the short films, which will then be seen on a distribution platform, be it SABC or whatever the case is. So some of them have been shown on local platforms. Maybe it speaks to the elevation of marketing that a bit more, so that some of the MPs are a bit more aware, but that is something that the NFVF does. I just wanted to respond to Honourable Mteta's question around the grants. I was just trying to draw up the numbers. You had asked specifically about marketing and distribution in this financial year. So for the film festival and market hosting grants, we provided 11 black applicants, 3 coloured, 2 Indian, 2 white, and then of those 11 were male and 7 were female. And then so that was for film festival and market hosting, and then for marketing and distribution, Of the 8 grants, one recipient was coloured, one was Indian, 3 were black, 3 were white, and then the split was 5 female and 3 male.
Thank you so much. Can you take us through the benchmarking?
Chair, I think with the benchmarking, what makes sense is to look at like markets, similar to South Africa. The challenge there is that in most of the similar markets to South Africa, your national funding bodies, their budget is not even comparable to ours. So they are able to provide a lot more sustainable support with the private sector over time. The challenge with us is it's not just budget, but number one, you have a developmental mandate. So you then have to come up with these financial strategies that the CFO was talking about. You have to have the form fund in place. So you need those structures in place to be able to now speak to what the international benchmarks are. So countries like New Zealand, like Ireland, which I would assimilate to South Africa more than others, their government structures are a lot more broad than what ours are.
I understand. I just wanted to assess whether there is, because it can only be to the advantage of us when it comes to a number of things, development, retaining, and all of those. The Honorable Khabo.
Chair,
No, Chairperson.
No, I'm not going to Honorable Mtetwa.
Chair, the question on Jose dos Santos.
Yeah,
This is the world. I don't know. They haven't given us. Robert dos Santos.
They have asked for more information. Let's do this. We will submit the questions. We are 10 minutes over time.
Oh, thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. One, we must agree. I was expecting the DG to give us those letters, and I'm still waiting for those letters. So it cannot take you more than an hour to look for the letters that you sent to Treasury, and they gave you a response giving you a go ahead. I'm still waiting for that letter. And I will not want to leave this meeting without that letter. That is number one. Number two, from a government point of view, there seems to be no interest on saving the money of government. And this is my reason. The DG is aware that there was a report that speaks of amalgamation of certain entities. And for as long as we are not taking that route of amalgamating them, we'll still be caught up in this situation. If we can be provided with that report, that is the first thing. But the second thing, it is the legislative. The third thing is the legislative framework. The legal team had requested that to give us pieces of, in fact, different legislations that we need to review as a committee. And we had requested that we should be embarking in that process. I'm raising this because it's not for the first time we raise the issue of powers that cannot be subjected to scrutiny. We have raised this thing before, and we are legislators. There's nothing stopping us to review those pieces of legislation. What must happen is that the DG must lead that process of making sure that we bring that those pieces of legislation as a committee. We initiate the process. That is the third thing that I wanted to raise. You see, Chairperson, we must not be taken for a ride, and we must refuse to be treated as stupids. People must not come here and lie, because we'll make our own research here. The DG, maybe as part of closing, Chairperson, I've asked one or two things, but let me go back to this one. I've asked between the 2nd of September and today, who's overseeing this entity? No, I've never responded to that question. The response was rather saying that instead of, I want you to confirm, are you saying that there is no one, as things stands, designated by the board or whoever, like the minister usually does, to act as a CEO? Because that's what the impression that you have created in your response. The last issue, Chairperson, now I want to propose to this committee that the minister, we must drag him. We must direct the minister to the ethics committee. We must resolve on taking the minister to ethics committee. We've got reasons why we are raising that in terms of the process. And unfortunately, Chairperson, with us, you are stuck with us for the next 5 years. If we sound like a broken record in this first year,
But the unfortunate part, you are stuck with me for a lesson.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm proposing that we must take the minister to the ethics committee. And I've got enough reasons why I'm saying the minister must be taken to the ethics committee. Apart from misleading this committee, the minister was sitting there saying that he has used section 6, subsection 2. When you go to that section, it does not speak of that. The second thing, the responses that we are getting to the minister isn't when we are raising clarity-seeking questions. The minister seems not to be willing to respond, but rather wants to treat us as if we are his ball boys and girls who will run around with water and tea for him. Unfortunately, we are not that type. Those are some of the reasons why I'm raising. The fourth thing, DG, you must tell us where is Mr. Blennis. Mr. Blennis, the one who resigned from our people.
Order, Chair.
Honorable Jacobs. Honorable Daniels.
Jacobs. No, we're from the same party, yes. Yes. Chair, you are chairing this committee, and you are permitting aspersions to be casted here about posture of the minister and all those things. I've heard the minister respond to every question he was asked, and I've heard the responses being echoed also by DSEC. So we cannot also, when we talk about misleading, I was quiet and I cannot sit here as a leader of my organization and allow people to be misled also here.
No,
Chair.
Honorable Daniels, let me rectify. You're sitting here as a member of the portfolio and not as a member of your organization.
These utterances is personal, Chairperson.
No,
anybody can see it as clear as daylight.
Just give me a hearing. Earlier on, there was a rebuttal and references to X. And this was read and that was read. Now the honorable member is ventilating the issues and give reasons for his motivation, i.e. ethics committee. That is what the honorable member is doing currently. Furthermore, the honorable member have mentioned a lot of things pertaining to a letter he wrote to the minister. The department is here, the DM is here, the DG is here. This committee will get a response, or the member will get a response who have written a letter. The member is also now asking, where is a certain particular individual? It's in the report. I have, as the chairperson, given an opportunity, and he's the last one. So I don't want to deny him from what he is. So he's saying nothing personal. Nothing personal. The rebuttal was on the act. The minister read the act. The honorable member read a different act. So that is disputable. But we need, when these minutes are going to be rectified, or there is further action that anyone wants to take, these must then be brought together to see who has misled this parliament or not. Honorable Khabo, proceed.
Chairperson, with that being said, I'm fine. I therefore submit my case in relation to the minister being taken to ethics committee with issues that I've raised. And secondly, the last part, I think PSC will then advise us in this regard, because we have made mention on the number of things, and I'm happy that the PSC is here. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I will not be tempted. I refuse the temptation. I refuse the temptation of responding, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Khabo. The Public Service Commission.
Thank you, Chairperson. First, I want to say thank you for having invited us. It was an eye-opener, but because of time, I'm going to ask our DDG, Dr. Sidibe, to just give the advice and a way forward. And the invitation will take it up that we have an interaction with yourselves as well. as a committee and the PSC. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Siditse.
Thank you. Doc, before you go, I think on the 19th, Honorable Khabo, we just earlier today, you were part and parcel of that meeting. We approved that we are going to have a meeting with Treasury and the department on the amalgamation issue that you are talking, because that is an issue that has been raised. It forms part of our program. Doc.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me be brief. I think the key question was whether the Public Service Act supersedes the NFV Act. Let me nicely say all acts of parliament are largely at the same level. The Constitution is the supreme. Anything that is an act of parliament, it is at the same power with any other act. But what is happening here is that all acts of parliament create integration between various acts. And that is why you will see that the NFVF gives the role to the minister to perform particular functions, the DG, and then also there are obviously clearly stipulated powers. And my understanding is because this foundation is performing particular duties on behalf of the department, there would also be a shareholder agreement or contract that provides a lot more detail on the operations, and the minister and the DG or their nominees would serve in the council as shareholders. I don't know what they call it, but we generally call it a shareholder representative. They don't have veto power, they don't have the majority, but they are a shareholder because this entity is performing the duties. So all of these integrations, they need to be understood by the committee, because this particular council and the minister on certain actions, they are still required to confer with the Minister of Trade and Industry, the Minister of Finance, and so forth. So I just want to indicate that to a greater degree, what I am seeing is a lot of what the department is trying to do is provided for in the act of the foundation itself. There might be different interpretations, and there are a number of areas where the act itself does not talk about other things, like it talks about the foundation having the power through the council to second people somewhere, but it doesn't say anything anywhere else. What happens when the council cannot find an internal candidate to appoint to act as a CEO? And in that case, the shareholder cannot throw their hands in the air. They need to provide guidance, and it is normal practice within the public sector to have the shareholder then looking for a person within the administration to second for a particular duration. So maybe the very last point that I want to make, because I don't want to go into the details of what we were looking at here, is that acts of parliament of conflict in a collaborative manner as required by the Constitution before maybe you start acting against each other in a punitive manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumalo.
Chairperson, I don't know whether to say I need protection from an honorable member on the other side, but just two things, Chair. We've taken note. I think we will send the correspondence that Honorable Khabo is looking for, and I think you've addressed the issue of amalgamation. I did talk about it. Maybe Honorable Khabo was outside. The issue that I wanted just to raise, what members have actually been commenting about, and I think there are recommendations and all those things. We are aware that the board has developed a new funding strategy, and I think it's incumbent on us to then look at the extent to which it begins to respond to some of the things that have actually been raised. I think very lastly, a quick one. Chair, as we look at ways to grow and enhance and improve as well ourselves and the entities, we just had a sectorial planning session where we were looking at, just simple things. NFVF provide bursaries. In the provinces, you find bursaries being provided. In the department, you find that. Now, our approach is not integrated in terms of it translating to impact. And when we report, we would say 140 bursaries on language, they would say on film and all of that. So we were sitting together, all of us, the department, provincial departments, all of them were there, all 28 entities were represented because we want to move towards that. And what came out of the 2-day session, we do think will help us to really, as I'm saying, continuously look at how we improve and make a better impact on the industry. Thank you, Chair.
DM, you know, I'm not leaving you alone.
Yeah, in my language they say "Khomo ha nyele boloko bo botle."
Meaning?
Khabo will translate. Yeah. So yes, Chairperson, thank you very much. It has been 5 hours of robust oversight, and it gave one a lot to think about. And you know, a 160 million budget should make people happy. We can't sit for 5 hours, you know, arguing and not coming into conclusion. It's sad. It shows that there's a lot that needs to be done. I reflected on creative and business collaboration. I think it's one thing that we really need to look into going forward. The portfolio committee raised issues related to access to inclusivity, demographics and geographical spread quite very sharply. And we've taken note of that. And that it cannot be one province that has the monopoly of filming. It cannot be correct, especially if we want to address the imbalances of the past. So a child from Gungundlovu, a child from a deep rural vendor does not have to travel, you know, take 2 transports, Joburg and come to Cape Town. It's not fair. So we are aligned to that. Demographics should really be addressed. But again, you know, without any waste of time, I don't know why Nigeria is doing better than South Africa when it comes to filming. And I want to propose that there are lessons that we can learn from Nigerians, you know, when it comes to filming, because their industry contributes 6.4 billion. Yeah, their film industry, it contributes 6.4 billion. And they are #1 film industry and the largest in Africa. I'm sure Honorable Mteta will agree on that, you know. In terms of volume, in terms of number of annual films, and revenue and popularity as well. So it's not one-sided. You know, it's a community thing. It's a Nigerian thing. You go to any village, go Nigeria, they are busy filming. We produce 104 films in South Africa, you know, annually. Yeah, 104. That's what research says. It says that we produce 104 films in South Africa. We make them. But then it comes back to the question, who are the beneficiaries? Who are the role players? So it means it's external people coming and, you know, filming here. So it's not necessarily South African. So that also needs to change. Chair, I want to propose that maybe in the next meeting, let's have a joint meeting with DTI, because they also play a major role in the life of NFN. Yeah, ANC people cannot pronounce this, the problem. So yes, Chair, that's what I wanted to propose, you know, that let's have a joint meeting with DTI, because they can also add value in terms of promoting and making sure that this entity works. I will pause there, and thank you very much for the robustness. We've learned a lot.
Thank you so
We
much.
can only improve from this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much.
And GFC. We also need GFC.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, thank you for your hard work today. Tomorrow we will have another 7-hour session. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, thank you to the Portfolio Committee, obviously, for the passion that has been displayed here towards this entity. To be honest with you, a lot of the questions that you have asked, these are the questions that we have asked as well as a new board. These questions are also...
We just get order. We are going to adjourn now. Just a second. Please
No,
proceed.
Chair.
These
Can
are
we
also...
can we move, Chair? You gave the entity an opportunity to speak.
Now let me
I
give him
think the-
let me give him an opportunity.
No, Chair. Chairperson. We refuse, Chair. We can't be undermined by a council member. I refuse. I refuse to be undermined by this man, Chair. I refuse.
Now the
He's
man-
also undermining the leadership of a black woman in the entity. I refuse that. I refuse, Chair. He's not the chairperson. He's not the deputy chairperson. The HOO has spoken on behalf of everyone, so you can't do that, Chair. I refuse.
Deputy Minister, this is the portfolio meeting of the portfolio committee. I have given an opportunity and I've indicated who wanted to speak. I'm busy ending this meeting and the man raised his hand. I'm giving him an opportunity to speak. You proceed.
May I apologize if I had offended anyone. That was not my intention. I just wanted to thank everyone for the input that they have given us.
So I gave you an opportunity. I have noted that.
Thank you.
Honorable members, I just want to say the following. We are having a meeting tomorrow. We are having a meeting. We are having a meeting tomorrow. And this meeting has been scheduled a month in advance. A month in advance the meeting of tomorrow. I received a very stinking letter from the ministry indicating that we are overstepping and overreaching our role as the committee. I have ignored those letters because as a committee we have an oversight role to play onto the executive. Now there is this notion and gesture that most, if not all of the time, when we meet with the ministry, with the department and entities, they come and differ in front of us here. They must get their house in order. I've noticed this with a number of meetings. The Sports Trust is one of them. Now, today I have received a letter from the Adjudication Committee. From DSEC of the Adjudication Committee indicating they cannot attend this meeting with a lousy, shameful and lame excuse that there were communication up and down between the department and the speaker. This committee has nothing to do with that communication. The department felt with the ministry not to come. And we decided to proceed with our meeting. That is what we decided. And I must also say, I will, and I have decided to have a one-on-one with the minister every now and then, and even with the deputy. And I don't want to do these things, DM, to go and pull attendance list of both the minister and the DM in terms of their attendance in these kind of meetings. And also same to say, and we understand ministers and deputy ministers are busy, but it doesn't prevent them from schedule and plan their meetings to be present here. We understand that they are busy and that there are other responsibilities. But also I want to say to honorable members, whether the minister and the deputy minister is not here, these meetings will proceed. It will go ahead, and we will make those recommendations, and we will make our views known to Parliament. And I am going to engage with the Chair of Chairs office, with the Speaker's office when it comes to that recommendations. Because, DM, it does not mean anything to this committee who sit with the ministry and the department making recommendations, and on the contrary, other stuff have been done. With no decency from DSEC to come and say, or the ministry, listen, we are happy, we want to change this and we want to change that. And I want to use one example where a lot of monies have been spent. And I'm going there on October. What is that date of the big walk? I'm going there. I'm going to run a 5 kilometer. We have made proposals pertaining to that big walk. It's almost like, they just want to talk. We are taken for granted as a portfolio committee, and I'm taking full exception to that. We cannot sit and make recommendations where the department not even have the decency to say, we hear your cry, let's take this to wherever. If you look at the Soweto marathon, it's in the community, the most beautiful one ever I have ran. I think that the 21 kilometers there. So if we make recommendations, we really want both and all role players to go and peruse those recommendations. Otherwise, it's useless for us sitting here. It's useless for us sitting here. And I'm not going to tolerate any situation in future. Any situation in future. This is not a political meeting where you have the president of the chairperson of a province, and after him no one can speak. This is a meeting of the portfolio committee. I'm not going to follow that rule, where political meetings where the president or whoever speak, the president has spoken. This is a portfolio committee. And we don't know what the honorable member said. He wanted to say thank you as well. So tomorrow's meeting will be hybrid.
Chairperson, before you close, I want to register a complaint.
Tomorrow's meeting is hybrid. Tomorrow's meeting is hybrid. We want everyone present in tomorrow's meeting. If the panel can't join, which is more likely so, Dr. Kumalo, we want them to join hybrid tomorrow. We have a lot of questions to ask. There's a lot of things happening there as well, pertaining to allocations of monies in the reports that we have read, similar to what Honorable Molachani has mentioned. Now, the Department Sports, Arts and Culture on various occasions had sessions with some and most of the entities. Now, one of the meetings that we had with the department was to have synergy in terms of the reporting and as well as the KPIs. So some of them are having that synergy with the KPIs. I would like to see that the department, or rather NFVF, work closer with the department when it comes to their KPIs and all of that. I spoke to the adjudication committee, and then I think I've made a note of Honorable Khabo requesting the letters of treasurer. When we started the committee, there was a lot of problems when it comes to speaking terms and all of that. And then I implement a clock system, alarm system. And members, I have given opportunities to say 10, 10, 10, and I leave. I don't want to stop members. I want them to ventilate their issues, because we have a certain scheduled time and we have to respect that time pertaining to transport as well. With that said, honorable members, Honorable Daniels, you can raise by letter your complaint that you would like to raise. I have followed due course, I have followed procedure, I've given everyone an opportunity, and I would like to deal with this meeting with the right decorum. With that said, honorable members, I declare this meeting as closed.
Thank you.
No, it's the meeting is closed. So, but it's so wrong, Chair. We can't have these utterances with racial undertones right under your nose, and then don't allow me to speak on it.
Which one does it know, Melon?
The Deputy Minister is saying, don't think because you're colored that you are special to this gentleman sitting here. That cannot be right.
It's wrong. I fully agree that is the case.